Hello and welcome to Kamen Rider Recap, the only show where a TV will talk to you about a TV show. Let me tell you about Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is a live-action special effects show started in April of 1973 by Shotaro Ishinomori, famous for his other creative properties such as Cyborg 009 and Kikaider, to name a couple. Kamen Rider was originally about a man, Takeshi Hongo, who was kidnapped by the evil organization Shocker and transformed into a cyborg, or remodeled human, with the intent to spread fear and terror. However, Hongo broke free before he could be brainwashed, and uses his new upgrades to fight Shocker as Kamen Rider. Now that is the story back in 1973. About every year or so since then, there's been a new rider with a new story and a new evil to fight in the name of protecting people, justice, flashy finishing moves, special effects, and new toys for kids to buy. But we're not here to talk about the original Kamen Rider, at least not yet. No, we're going to talk about the rider that restarted the series at the turn of the new millennium, when the franchise was on its last legs. We're going to take a look at Kamen Rider Kuuga. Kamen Rider Kuuga is about the resurrection of an ancient race of beings called the Grongi. Along with the Grongi being awakened, a mysterious belt called the Arco Belt has also been uncovered. Now, as the Grongi start killing off chunks of the population at a time, Godai Yusuke, an easygoing world traveler and master of 2,000 skills, dons the Arco Belt to become Kamen Rider Kuuga to protect the human race from the Grongi. Interestingly enough, this is the last Rider series that Ishinomori had a direct involvement in before he passed away in 1998. I'm not sure how much of the groundwork for this he had laid down before he died and how much was made after, but suffice to say, the story in Kamen Rider Kuuga is by no means lacking. The plotline does get pretty involved as the story goes on, thanks in part to the interesting and engrossing characters. Speaking of, the large cast of characters in Kuuga are really what drive the plot forward. Their hopes, dreams, disappointments, anger, and especially the relationships between them. Godai is supported not only by his family, which includes his adoptive uncle Tamasaburo, Tamasaburo's niece Nana, and Godai's sister Minori, but also friends like Sakurako, who works in a university archaeology department and helps decode artifacts related to the Grongi and Godai's belt. In addition, there's Detective Ichijo and the task force assigned to eliminate the Grongi, who do their best to back up Godai. Now when I say they back up Godai, I don't mean they stand around as fodder for the monster. Usually. They're actually gathering evidence on the Grongi, figuring out their patterns, if any, and how to best combat and deal with each threat as best they can. And by the end of the series, they're actually able to go toe-to-toe with the Grongi. The police force in Kuuga is almost akin to a secondary rider themselves. Anyways, Godai pretty much makes friends with everyone he comes across, and in turn most of them help him or support him in some way as he tries to fight the Grongi. Each character is fleshed out, regardless of their relative importance to the current plot, and you feel like these are real people with their own lives and not just plot devices for the writer. And that goes for Godai himself. He's a friendly, likable protagonist who inspires a sense of camaraderie around him, as well as faith in him as a writer. When watching Kuuga, you'll be tempted to give the screen a thumbs up whenever Godai is on. The enemies of the season, the Grongi, are just as well thought out, to the point that they even have their own language, which fans have been able to decode. Fair warning, by the way, I'd suggest finding a sub that doesn't have the Grongi text decoded, at least for the first time you watch it. It spoils a lot of the endgame plot points and kinda takes away from the story early on. Back on topic, the Grongi are actually really interesting villains, and devastating ones at that. Their death tolls only increase every episode, and their ultimate goal is actually terrifying when it's revealed. I won't say more than that since mystery is one of their selling points, but suffice to say they're definitely worthy villains for this season. The motifs of this season seem to be a mix of ancient civilizations and artifacts mixed with a police procedural drama. In almost every episode we see the Grongi attack the populace, and the police and Godai working together to find out what their pattern is, how to beat that specific Grongi, and also trying to unravel a larger mystery behind them. It sounds like a weird mix, sure, but some of the best writers have had really unconventional motifs. Case in point, Sengoku breakdancing fruit warriors. The special effects in Kuuga are pretty run-of-the-mill, with a large focus on martial arts and practical effects rather than CG, although you do see some CG every now and again. Though the dedication of practical effects and stunts can get a little silly sometimes. The rider system in Kuuga is pretty basic compared to future Heisei riders, although he is the second rider to have form changes after Black RX, as well as the last solitary rider of a single season. After this, there will always be at least 2 riders to a season, if not more. The music isn't anything too special. It's nice to listen to and complements whatever's happening on screen well enough, although the opening and ending themes are very catchy. The opening theme, appropriately titled Kamen Rider Kuuga by Masayuki Tanaka, is a rock tune that's full of driving energy, while the ending, Aozora ni Naru, or Into the Blue Sky by Jin Hashimoto, is a gentle, daydreamy song that either nicely winds down from a cliffhanger or complements a wrapped up storyline. Kuuga is a very bare-bones rider. No secondary rider, no movies, no crossovers. I'm honestly surprised we got form changes, to be honest. The lack of extras is probably due to the fact that Kuuga was the first real season of Kamen Rider since the late 80s and was a reboot for the franchise. A low budget means a character-driven story with no movies or extras or bells and whistles. But arguably, we got a really interesting and exceptional story because of that. Kuuga is a really basic rider series, and it's all the stronger for it. A likable protagonist, a clear plotline, interesting side characters, and a mysterious enemy make Kamen Rider Kuuga a very enjoyable and gripping watch. Definitely as good a jumping in point to Kamen Rider as W or O's are, despite the fact that it's a little dated. Well, that's one Rider recapped, with about 15 more to go. So join me next time on Kamen Rider Recap, where we take a look at what is considered by some to be a direct sequel to Kuuga, Kamen Rider Agito. In the meantime, please let me know what you thought about this recap in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.